is covering the eyes. When you pet a bird, a lot of times you're petting the face and you're rubbing the feathers on the head, but you're not making the bird close their eye. You're doing very good. When you're going to put the collar of the harness over the bird, you're going to be putting it around the face of the bird and dragging it down. It's okay, good girl. Over the eyes, and the eyes are going to have to close. It's a very strange sensation for the bird. So, big mistake a lot of people make is taking the harness, sticking it over the head, scraping along the eyes. The bird doesn't know it needs to close the eyes. Very uncomfortable, and the bird tries to eliminate that behavior. So she's doing very good there. Now, I'm going to do it without much petting here. And I'm going to, good girl. See how much she'll tolerate it. Very good. Now, the third behavior we want to work on is pushing the bird off balance, because a lot of times when you're putting the harness on, you're not very coordinated. And good girl, good girl. Now, she doesn't like that. She's wondering what's going on. I'm going 1, 2, 3, done. Now, when you count to 3, the bird realizes after a while that, okay, this is something I don't want to do, but after 3, I'm going to get a chance to stop. So let's go ahead and push her the other direction. Can I push her this way? Good girl. Good girl. 1, 2, 3. Good girl. All right, that's enough for the first lesson. I'm going to go ahead and put Crayola back. We'll get her out in another hour and try a little bit more. All right, we're back. Step. Good girl. Okay. If your bird is not as handleable as Crayola here, you're going to need to work with that before you try to put the harness on. You want to work with a bird that's conditioned to allow you to condition them. If they're not well behaved to begin with, if they haven't been shown discipline from the start, if they're not potty trained, if they're not coming to you when you call them, if they're not stepping on command and staying on your hand when you want them to, then you're going to need to be working with that along with these behaviors, so that once you do get the harness on, then the bird is, well behaved anyways. So let me work on your head. Okay, we just keep trying these behaviors over and over again every hour. Try them for just a few minutes, not very long. We don't want to push her past her attention span. Okay. Now in the future, hopefully all of the birds will be exposed to these behaviors when they're about 5 weeks old, which is the stage of development in the brain where the parents would be starting to push them to be disciplined a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Good girl. Let's try the other wing. Let's try it. I'm going to hold it way out here. 1, 2, 3. Good girl. She's already starting to get the idea that after I count, she's going to be able to stop whatever I'm doing to her. I'm going to push her off balance. Now, if you're doing this from the start when she's 5 weeks old, or if the breeder's doing it when they're in the nursery, when you get the bird as a baby or even as an adult, a well-behaved bird, you can work on these behaviors while you're doing normal behaviors like watching TV or just playing with the bird. Good girl. She's doing very well. Push her this way. Yes. Now, even though she's doing very well, we want to, stay where you're at. We want to keep up with these behaviors because we want to make sure that when we're doing something as strange as putting a harness around her neck and body, that she will accept the behaviors and she'll allow us to continue with it. Good girl. Okay, that's enough for this time. Yep. Good girl. Step. No step. Good girl. Now, I've only been showing you every other session here, so this is about her 5th session that she's been in here. So she's not as progressing as well as she's showing on camera. I'm showing you the better ones. But let's go over the eye again here now. And you remember, you're doing this for life. You're not doing it to get a harness on. You're doing it to get a harness on every day for the rest of her life. So think about it long term. Think about how much you need to invest to make sure that you are going. No, 1, 2, 3. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good bird. So you're investing some time here for the rest of her life, not just for a few days. So if you have a bird that's not well trained, plan on spending a couple days, couple weeks, couple months whatever. 1, 2, 3. Now wait until she started to jerk away. There's also a situation where I'm talking. She probably thinks that I'm kind of relating to her, so she's not as concerned about the discipline that I'm giving her the exercises. So I'm going to stop talking for a second. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good girl, good girl. So when you stop talking, they lose their attention, and they'll start responding to what you're doing to them. Okay, it's time to start working with the harness. Now, she's been exposed to the harness in the nursery. Nobody has ever tried to put a harness on this bird. Nobody's ever approached her with a harness this close, but she has had the strap material hanging in her cage, holding toys and hanging as ropes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the harness in my hand the same way I would be if I was putting it over her head, so that when I come up and pet her with it, she's not concerned about it. Yes, and this is the way we would approach her to slide it over her head. Yes, that's a good girl. Good girl. Yes. I'm going to drape it around her body. Can I do this to you? Can I do this? Huh? What is that? No. No. We don't want her to play with it. We don't want her to chew on it. Birds, once they have the harness on, because of the natural preening behavior, they'll start playing with the harness because it's not allowing the feathers to hang in the right place. They're trying to straighten their feathers, and the harness is in the way. We want to train her not to bother with that. Part of that training is involved in, as soon as you get the harness on, you take the bird out, do something fun and exciting so the bird can't take the time to concentrate on training. Okay, very good. Let's put your wings up one more time. Let's do both of them at the same time this time. We're going to stretch them out a little bit. No. 1, 2, 3. Good girl. So you saw as soon as I said no, because she knows what no is now, she said it very quickly. She also knows what the 1, 2, 3 is. So as soon as I said 1, she waited, right? Let's do it again. Let's show them. Now I'm going to stretch them out to the limit. 1, 2, 3. Good girl. And she just stands there and waits for 3. Yes, that's a good girl. Okay, let's go back. Next time we're going to try putting the harness on. Good girl. Step. Good girl. Alright, it's time to start the behavior using the harness. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the harness, make sure it's all straight. We're going to put our hand through where her head would go through. So just like this. And the inside of the harness is on the outside of my hand. Turn her around. Step. Good girl. Step. Very good. Now when I go up to her head to pet her and to go over her head, I've got the harness on my hand. I've got her eyes closed because my fingers are over them. And I've got the harness on before she even knows it, huh? You don't even know you're wearing that harness, do you? We have a situation with the collar where we find it's easier to put it on and off of large birds than it is on the small birds. The reason is that the actual size